black souls, we lost a lot of black souls during that time, but still those who survived came here and enjoyed the freedom that they could not get up in the South. So my job is simple, just introduce each one of you guys that we're going to be speaking, and then share with you guys the real African culture. There will be traditional dance, and the city hall today is going to be hearing a lot of noise. So some lively African culture, so I hope you guys enjoy that. There will be displays at the back where we have some historical backgrounds that if you of the kids in City of Edmonton schools did it. So I encourage you to join Amin and his sister right there and ask all the questions that you can ask and challenge the boys and the girl for the questions. And there's finger food that's right beside it, so we'll encourage you while you're having the food, just glance around, talk to those two hostess, and enjoy the day. Around 4 o'clock, we will be celebrating the traditional dance, and there will be a few Ogaden Somali community members that will be working hard, that will be more than happy for you guys to dance with them at the end. But enjoy it because they really work hard. Having said that, I want to call Dr Maxamuud Ugaas to speak on behalf of the Ogaden Somali community.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, elected officials, and my fellow Canadians, I am honored and proud to celebrate with you all this important occasion to say a few words in commemoration of the Black History Month. But before I do that, I would like to share with you a small background history of where this Ogaden Somali community come from. The Ogaden are Somalis in every aspect of work, linguistically, culturally, ethnically. Although geographically Ogaden is known to be part of Ethiopia, still over 10 million Somalis live in Ogaden, who are reflections and representative of every Somali tribe. Those Somalis in Ethiopia have been trying to unify with their other Somali sisters and brothers for decades, and have been trying to make their own self-determination otherwise. The core problem in the Horn of Africa and cause of instability there is because of the lack of solution to the Ogaden conflict. And that's why many immigrants are coming from Somalia, from Djibouti, from East Africa, from Kenya, from Ethiopia. The plight of the Somalis in Ethiopia started during the last quarter of the 19th century. The region was conquered by Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia, who their claim is by treaties in 1897. Ethiopia exerted little administrative control over Ogaden until 1934, and when Anglo-Ethiopian Boundary Commission attempted to demarcate treaty boundary. This boundary is still disputed. My fellow Canadians, me standing here is a testament to the struggle of the lives of Black Canadians. It's the obligation of Canadians to remember the struggle of the first Black Canadians. We should highlight the Black Canadian contribution to our society all year long. The school system should teach more about this subject that's equal to the history of all Canadians. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to give you a history lesson today, but I could not resist sharing the brave Canadian people like John Robertson. You all know that. John Robertson, an Attorney General to Upper Canada, now called Ontario, who in 1819 declared that by residing in Canada, Black residents are free, and that Canadian courts should protect their freedom. Canada has paved the way for the rest of the world then. Many slaves or ex-slaves put their lives on the line reaching of safety in order to reach the promised land, Canada. Today, as many have turned their backs on Syrian refugees, the Canadian government and majority of Canadian people showed their true colors, the color of humanity. And I could not produce to call not only myself, but my whole family Canadians. We thank the Canadian government and the Canadian people for welcoming us to this beautiful and great nation where we are treated as citizens equally the same as other Canadians. Before I finish, I would like to thank the Ogaden Somali community of Alberta Society, shortly called OSCAR, for organizing this great event. And OSCAR's mission is to enhance the social well-being and the welfare of Somali community here in Canada, in Alberta. The ultimate goal of OSCAR is to build a healthy and vibrant community whose members can successfully settle and effectively integrate into the wider Canadian society. Thank you for your listening.
Sorry, I didn't tell you his bio, but Dr. Ugaas, he's a human rights activist. He is, as well as human rights activist, he helps the community a lot. He is a PhD for, I'm butchering you, but sorry about that, I forget my clipboard. But he helps a lot, he's a planner. He helps the community a lot, he works with it, he never asks any questions. Anytime you call him, he's right there, try to work with you, anybody who's in need, mainly the newcomers. Thank you very much, give him one more round of applause. Mayor Don Iveson, what can I say? Born and raised in Edmonton, went to Calgary, U of A. When I was reading his bio, I was just so amazed that not only he started washing dishes, this is for the young guys to know, not only he started washing dishes, he was a community activist working with, trying to always make it better, fight for the transportation from St. Albert all the way connecting to U of A students and all that. He's been active in the community, work with different organizations, try to make Edmonton a better place. As well, before he became a mayor, all of you know that he was a city councilor almost over 6 years, if I'm wrong, correct me. And there's a lot of issues related to the youth that he was always involved in around the city of Edmonton area. Because he was trying to always attract the best and brightest in Edmonton and try to find the needs of all Edmontonians in order Edmonton to become a vibrant place. And today, he has the opportunity to make that. He worked from the bottom all the way to the top. And we hope that he goes all the way wherever your political aspirations takes you. So having said that, please bring a round of applause for Mayor Don Iveson.
Well, thank you, Ahmed. All kinds of people are trying to plan my future for me, but I'll try to take it one election at a time. Assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to be with you here. I want to invite two of my colleagues, two of the people who make what we accomplish here at City Hall possible. Councillor Scott McKean, Councillor Bev Esslinger. As you know, you can, yes, absolutely. Let's give them a round of applause. As we know, any one of us can try to do something alone, but you accomplish a lot more when you have a great team. And these are two members of our team here, and so I'm thrilled to have them here for this Black History Month event and also to connect with Edmonton's Somali community and to have an opportunity to honor the rich tradition and the many histories that come together here. And when I think about Canada and what I love about this country, it started from the very beginning as a country built on bringing cultures together. It started with trying to make peace between the English and the French. And the English and the French fought all over the world, and they finally settled it here in Canada and built a country together. And at the same time, this country grew to be a peaceful relationship with Indigenous people, with First Nations people and Métis people and Inuit people here through treaties. And we talk about Treaty 6 territory. There's a treaty here that we're all parties to. And so we're all treaty people here. And the treaty is about peace. The treaty is about working together. The treaty is about sharing. And that's what Canada's about. Between English and French, between Indigenous and non-Indigenous, between longtime Canadians and newcomers. That's the strength of this country, is that there's space for everybody. And the objective isn't for everybody to turn out the same. The objective is for everybody's diversity to strengthen the whole. And that's why Black History Month is so important, because we have an opportunity to learn about the diversity of cultures that we have in our city here, to learn about the history behind those cultures, and even just from Dr. Ugaas just now, I just learned something about the Ogaden people, which I didn't know. And so each one of these events, every month like this, every chance we have to get to know each other across cultural boundaries is a chance to learn something about where we've come from and celebrate how lucky we are to live together here peacefully in this country together. And so I'm grateful to be with you here today, grateful for the invitation. We're so thrilled to host you in your City Hall. This is your building. We just work here 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or 6 or 7 days a week, but it feels like we never leave. But it's so wonderful to welcome every Edmontonian into this building every chance we get. So thank you for choosing to host this event here in our building, which we share together. And thank you very much for celebrating Black history, for learning about the story of other Black Canadians. I think there's real strength in that for all of us. And we're making Black history together that way, moving forward. And so thank you very, very much for including us in your program. I'll turn it over to Councillor McKean, Councillor Essinger, if you want to say a couple of words. But I'll just say that it's always a treat to proclaim Black History Month and celebrate all February long. But I think we absolutely do this every day of the week, every month of the year in Edmonton, but it's good to have a focal point. And so I'm glad to be with you here today on this day in February, Black History Month in our city and in our province and in our country. And I acknowledge David Shepard, who's here as well. Look forward to hearing from him later. And mostly, I look forward to the dance and to the song and to the sharing of the culture. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, and I think the MC said it best, really it takes a village to raise a child, and I think through events like this we get to learn about our fellow villagers. It is great to get to know one another and to appreciate where you've come from, and I think this is just really a time to celebrate your roots, but it's a celebrate for us to move forward together. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's so great to be here. And whenever I attend an event organized by the African Communities of Edmonton, I feel so welcome. However, I have one complaint. When I came today to your event and met the Master of Ceremonies and asked him to give me his hair, he declined. And that's a great head of hair, I gotta tell you. Before I was elected to council, I was on the Mennonite Center board, and I heard some heartbreaking stories about refugees from Africa. But I also met some just amazing people. And one of them, I won't name her yet, but I was at a Somalian-Canadian forum during the election. And I think if we're honest, we go into elections, perhaps aside from Don Iveson, who seems to be up on every subject there is. I'm not. And I was not up on African history as much as I could be, so I got asked a question and I answered it as honestly as I could. And I named this amazing, amazing woman I'd met at the Mennonite Center, who seems to walk and embody grace. And that is Mana Ali. And when I mentioned her name at that forum, everybody broke up. I got this huge round of applause. So I was really relieved. But what a privilege it has been to meet and talk to her. She is such a tremendous ambassador for your communities. And speaking of ambassadors, I also want to just quickly take note of Deputy Chief Brian Simpson being here today, and the work by the Edmonton Police Service with the Chiefs advisory councils, reaching out into our various multicultural communities. And I think that's just a tremendous effort, and one that speaks to the work we all have to do. And in that regard, I'll be speaking tomorrow at a forum put on by Black History Month, and I'm looking forward to that too. I think I actually spoke longer than you did. I might have, eh? Yeah. Thank you so much.
Councilman Scott, you talked to me, I know that. You asked for the hair.